Coming up right now, cops in New Jersey are on the tiger beat. Search is on for someone trying to break into a zoo enclosure.
Also coming up, the mommy hack that is a swing and a miss. The backlash she's getting for her DIY baby travel decision.
A little bit later on, a high-end designer has gone to the dogs. Why some pet owners are turning up their nose at the new doggy perfume and cologne.
Daily Flash starts right now.
Get ready for trending news and entertainment. This is Daily Flash with your hosts, Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. The fun starts right now. This is Daily Flash.
Hi everyone, I'm Andrea Jackson.
I'm Mitch English, welcoming you to Daily Flash. Your crew here.
Yes, all right.
Now, before you get excited, they got their paychecks.
Oh,
the check cleared, so
it did.
it's
Okay,
fine.
that's good.
That's what they're excited. We also will be enlightened by our Matt Doolittle. Everybody has a Matt Doolittle.
Thank you. Mitch, I drove you to work today. You know,
Yes, he did. He was very nice, and he picked me up.
Playing car, roulette with your wife and all that. How about that motorcyclist that blew by us on a Harley?
Man, no
6
kidding.
a.m.
Here's the thing, yeah, and I used to ride, and by the way, I just sold my motorcycle, by the way. And this guy cut, literally, I mean, I'm telling you, what 2 feet in front of us?
Barely.
And those are the guys that give motorcyclists a bad name.
On a Harley, not even a
And
race
he was
bike.
like crazy.
Yeah.
It was, 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, dude, where are you headed? That you that much of a hurry that you cutting into people like that? So, yeah, that was a wake-up call.
And to find police officers in this area that are usually just waiting for us at 6 a.m., we're nowhere to be found.
No, of course not. Of course not.
Forgot about that.
You all oftentimes when I see that kind of thing, I think, that motorcyclist is short-lived. I mean, it just can't. That can't continue.
Well, and if you have a motorcycle, the first thing they'll tell you is like, it's not if you're going to lay it down, it's when. And it's always, it might be a small one, might be a major one, no matter what.
Just
so
the
you can't
risk.
be doing stuff like that. Yeah, it was very annoying to me.
Question for you guys. Do you think there should be an age limit when it comes to your doctor?
I'd say about 65, 70, where I would.
Okay, Mitch.
Yes, and only because my wife went to one, and I think the guy just checked her out.
That's right.
Did I tell you about this story?
Yes, you did.
And the next time they go, he's no longer with us anymore. So.
He was an elderly gentleman.
He was a dermatologist.
Right. Yeah.
So there's a case that happened in Florida. 84-year-old doctor. He's a gastroenterologist. He was doing a colonoscopy on a patient.
Oh, no.
The doctor has to wear hearing aids in order to hear. Well, he didn't have the hearing aids in for the colonoscopy. Well, it just so happens that the patient was not all the way under during the colonoscopy and was screaming on the operating table for help, but he couldn't hear the guy because he didn't have his hearing aids in. So he has been suspended, and apparently this has happened one other time before.
With this doctor.
With this doctor, a different patient a few years ago, but in order for him to operate, he has to have hearing aids in. So why he didn't have them in that day, this happened recently within the last 6 months, and this poor patient was screaming for help in pain because he was not 100% sedated.
When you said he, and there's...
Colonoscopy.
So that is one, you're very vulnerable then when you're doing that. I've heard of brain surgeons or like people that are doing highly concentrated surgeries to play like death metal, to play like really, because it helps them concentrate, kind of like zone out.
Oh, really?
So they can concentrate. I've heard of it. Now, I'm sure everyone does that, but they need that. They'll play music or something like that so that they can concentrate on it. But this is a whole different story altogether, because this is something he could have prevented.
And I think so. I mean, not to say that, everyone ages in a different way, right? One 84-year-old could be a younger 84-year-old compared to a 50-year-old, right? But when it comes to having your hearing aids in and being hearing impaired,
big difference.
I think there's a huge difference in that.
I don't want an 84-year-old pilot. I don't want an 84-year-old dentist. There's certain limits to stuff where I go, I don't need them doing that.
Yeah.
It comes all the way down like this to driver's license. And it's like the last independence actually they have. So you want them to have that, but you're talking about somebody's, you're doing something that could be devastating if it's done wrong. And my understanding, the same doctor, he wanted to play Moon River while he was doing that. He wouldn't let him do that.
I mean, the argument is someone is older, has got more experience, and should be really well skilled at what they're doing.
Which says even more, you've had the experience, you know how important it is to be able to listen. So I think he was kind of being not even following his orders. So here we go. We move on now to the Garden State, where cops there are having to take a bite out of crime. They found a woman who actually climbed over a fence and into a tiger enclosure at a local zoo. Cops shared the video footage of 21-year-old Zaire Dennis breaking into a fenced-off area of the zoo tiger's enclosure. Look at this. You can see her put her hand through a small gap to get within reaching distance of the Bengal tiger. Now, the giant cat appears to be startled by the intruder. It lunges at the fence. She quickly moves her hand, jumps back. However, she slowly leaves. She takes a moment to pose in front of the tiger.
Cops
say that they have their video of her doing the same thing at a bear enclosure on the same day. She's facing several charges, 30 days in jail, $500 fine, and an update already.
I think she should go to jail for more than 30 days. Look, if something had happened to her while she was doing that stunt, the tiger would be dead. Because she put that tiger's life in jeopardy because she wanted to get a selfie with this cat. That is absolutely unacceptable.
And by all means, she should not only be banned, maybe banned in every zoo type, because apparently she's got a propensity of taking bear shots and the tiger as well. So
for a while they didn't know who she was, so they were asking for the public's help, and they finally were able to identify her. I'm sure she probably posted it on social media somewhere, so she can't be that hard to find.
That's true.
But I mean, this is just idiotic. People just have no sense of responsibility.
We have that problem here in Florida with the gators, and there was a story years ago where there was a sign in this golf course that said, "Do not come back in this area. Leave your ball. There's 2 gators that have been here forever. We like them. Leave them alone." This guy's disc golfing out there, goes back for his disc golf, gets bit, and they go to get the gator. Luckily, Gatorland here was like, "Well, we'll take him. That's not his fault," and they took him. But it happens all the time.
But they can't do that for every gator, or for every wild animal.
And the biggest problem that he had is he was playing disc golf.
Yes, that too. He deserved it.
That he was like, he didn't want to admit that he was
darn hippies.
I think we can all agree on this one. Absolutely no one likes a crying baby on an airplane.
No.
So, in an effort to soothe her 9-month-old during a 4,000-mile flight, a beauty influencer came up with an idea. She built a hammock by tying a blanket between a few empty seats. An anxious onlooker noted, "If the plane hits turbulence, this baby will be flying." Cue the firestorm of criticism regarding the safety hazards and her impromptu DIY hack. The mom released a statement claiming her infant was only in it for about 30 seconds of the 7-hour flight. She said she would have never done it if she thought her child could be in danger.
Listen, God bless. Good for you, Mom, for doing that. Number one, yes, I applaud, because you see a baby and usually they know turbulence. I'm not going to say it's an excuse, but usually the pilots say, "Hey, we might be running through some turbulence or whatever." But if it keeps that baby from being quiet, because there is a thing. And it's proven that moms can tune out their own baby.
Yes.
But that's not my baby, and all I hear is crying. And I had 4 kids, and I understand. And it grates on my nerves. So I'm going to go off on a tangent here.
Wouldn't the baby be in her lap anyway? And if they hit turbulence, wouldn't she fling her up or something?
No problem with that whatsoever. Matter of fact, I think they should manufacture this. They should give it to them. Just say, here.
They used to have baby cages in New York.
That's right. An Air Bjorn. Aren't those things called Bjorns, where they kind of put them in
My kids were all in Bjorns. They were great. It's like a little sling that they can put on there. Fashion house Dolce & Gabbana just launched a new perfume for dogs, and it's called Fifi. It's all in honor of Dolce's pet poodle. Not everybody's on board. Some vets say the perfume could affect the animal's sense of smell. Consumer experts say it could do damage to your wallet, too. A bottle of Fifi of Dolce & Gabbana will set you back $100, change for 3 ounces of the perfume. Label says it's been certified for use on animals. All the dog owners who were consulted say the fragrance is gentle and their vets approve of it. Many pet groomers use different scented, I was going to mention this products when they're bathing and grooming their dogs as well. So, as long as if it was safe and they didn't test it on animals, which is a whole other aspect you think about that. I'm all for if a dog smells a little bit better, but I'm not paying that kind of money to make sure that they do.
Yeah, $100 for a tiny little bottle of doggy perfume.
But if you're Dolce & Gabbana in it anyway, You can
That
afford
is
it.
true.
Like
Yes.
you're but spending $5,000 on a purse.
It's pocket change. Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you this. Okay, I'm glad we talked about this. Dolce & Gabbana light blue. I'm gonna tell you something. Somebody puts that on. I don't like going up talking to people I don't know, but I will say, ma'am, you smell so amazing. It's Dolce & Gabbana light blue. And they're like, oh yeah, how'd you know? Is that creepy? A guy like coming up to you?
I don't think so, because if I smell a good cologne on a guy, oh my goodness,
you'd let him know.
Well, I'd like, same thing. It's like,
follow him around.
well, I don't. I follow him around. No. I guess it all depends on the audience. Yeah.
Yeah, because I always feel like, is that weird to tell somebody? But usually I go,
it's
ma'am,
a nice compliment.
I think you smell amazing. I've walked on the other side of an aisle because I could smell it. I love that stuff so much. Stick around. We got more after. It's time for us to head into the parenthood. For kids, summer is actually a time for relaxation, vacations, lots of fun. But it also can be an opportunity for growth and learning. Joining us now with some ways to keep kids entertained and engaged this summer is parenting expert Catherine Sellery, one of my favorite people to talk to. Hi, Catherine.
Hey, likewise. I'm so happy to see you. How are you?
I am well, even though summer is started, and my bonus son and I, we were excited because we get to plan out what we're going to do. Obviously, all the trips we're going to go to, all the places that he's going to make me take him. We've got all that lined up, but it doesn't always have to be all about that sort of time because it's all about the memories. If you think, looking back, memories are usually growing up, you think about the summertime. But it actually can be a good time, you say, during the summer for them to learn, maybe not necessarily just teaching skills that they might need from school, but also emotional things and so on. And I want to talk to you about some of those things. And we, as I just mentioned, doing vacation. You say I could actually make this educational. Do I need to tell him that it's going to be an educational vacation? Explain me what this is, because I don't think he's going to want to go on it.
Totally get that. Yeah, you don't. But you can plan, your vacation. Go to science museums, historical sites, nature reserves. These are all great family-friendly places to go on that summer weekend adventure. Not only do they have attractions that offer educationally conducive environments that are safe and fun to explore at any age, a lot of them are free. So you can have fun with the family while not spending a lot of money, and everybody loves that. And for more excitement, try planning the nature scavenger hunt or the historical tours. A lot of kids are really interested in that with your kids while you visit the attractions to get the most out of your visit.
I agree with you. Okay, now, as I said, we did some planning, but you say even planning hypothetical trips are actually a good thing? Explain
Isn't
that.
Fun?
Yeah.
I mean, just think about that. I can't go to Iceland, but I want to learn about it. And God, that sounds so fun. So it might seem a little strange at first, but actually allowing your kids to think about and plan trips themselves with your guidance, maybe some feedback, but really giving them the reins helps them understand like the logistics that go into getting a group of people somewhere. And it can teach them how important it is around budgeting and travel times and, the different resources that they can use, like the internet. It can even propel them to look inward, to figure out what kinds of things they would be really thinking would be enjoyable instead of looking to you all the time to provide something interesting for them to do.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I do. Well, I even, as you said that, I think sometimes in marriages, it does. No, I'm serious, because usually there's one spouse that does all the planning, but if you have some hypothetical thing, it actually will garner, I imagine, a lot of imagination. And I could see it as a child really growing from all of that. You mentioned staying, basically, getting on the internet. That would involve staying at the home and such, but you say you can do some creative learning at home as your next tip. Explain that.
Absolutely. So, engaging in those do-it-yourself projects can be tailored for any age and any interest. For example, you could prompt a build an instrument and can have a solution as simple as putting an old shoelace or a rubber band over a shoebox with a hole, or as complex as woodworking or digital software synthesis. It could take an hour, it could take a day, it could take the whole summer. I mean, it could light up their enthusiasm or interest. So finding the right prompt can give your kids a boost in their imagination and creativity, and finding the thing that sparks their interest is key. So maybe your child wants to try cooking or baking something with you, or maybe they want to write a song or make a painting. Regardless of the task, exploring those topics through creation is engaging and can teach countless new skills.
We are always thinking, all right, how am I going to keep the kid busy? How am I going to keep them all active? Let's sign them up for all kinds of stuff. Let's get them, jiu-jitsu. Let's get them guitar lessons, that sort of thing. But we need to think about the downtime too, I would imagine, as well. How important is that?
True. Yeah, so that's really important because that's what summer vacay is all about, right? So finding the enjoyable and acceptable entertainment to balance all the outdoor and family activities is also really key. So maybe you have a bookworm in the family, or maybe you don't have a bookworm in the family, but whether you do or don't, establishing reading habits over the summer can be an exceptionally rewarding way for your kids to stay engaged during their off season instead of forcing them to start reading through this or that. Just set up a cozy reading nook. Host a family book night where everybody can share thoughts and ideas about a certain book that they really love. If your child is more oriented toward those online games or digital media, keep an open mind. There are online resources and educational games that make learning really fun, interactive, interesting. So even games that you may not think of as conventionally educational, they can teach history or math or politics or strategy more through immersion. So talk to them, ask them questions, watch them play. All are good ways of engaging with them and enjoying just the downtime and making them feel comfortable with what they're playing.
To do a little sideline question here, since we have our parenting expert on you, Catherine, what about keeping them on a schedule? I mean, how far off should we go from that schedule? Because, it is summertime. They're like, Mom, I want to sleep till 11 o'clock every day. Do we let them, how much of that do we give them, I guess, is what I'm saying.
I loved giving my kids as much time as it's the only time, right? And so much of their lives is oriented toward other people telling them what to do.
Yeah.
It's kind of the only time, it's the only season in the year where they can have a little bit more autonomy, and be more self-directed. And it's so nice for them to begin to get a feel for their natural rhythms. So I say, if it's really not bothering you, then let them have their time to choose when they want to go to bed and when they want to get up. It's really the only time in their lives, really, 9 months out of the year, they're scheduled.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. And I imagine it would also, in the summer, it would teach them, it's like, hey, look, we're giving you a lot of responsibility. You have this. If you decide to sleep till 11 o'clock and, you miss it, well, there's consequences to that. But it allows them to make that choice. Is a perfect time, actually, now that I think about it.
Again, if it's something really important to you, you can set that up too, right? Like if you've got a big day plan tomorrow, that's not the day to say, do whatever you want, Charlie. That's the day to say, hey, this summer is all about you guys really enjoying and having autonomy that you wouldn't have otherwise. And there are times that we got stuff going on. And it's really important that we do get to bed early.
Catherine, thank you so much. We are out of time here. freeparentingbook.com is the website you want to go to find out more.
Hey guys, this week on The Scene with Doreen, I got to sit down with Stephen Tobolowsky, one of the greatest character actors of our time. He's appeared in over 300 movies and TV shows, and boy, does he have a story to tell. Check it out.
Phil Connors, I thought that was you.
Rita, this is Ned Ryerson. He's my new insurance agent.
I'll say. I have not seen this guy for 20 years. He comes up to me and then he buys whole life term, Uniflex, fire, theft, auto, dental, health, with the optional death and dismemberment plan. Water damage. Phil, this is the best day of my life.
Mine too.
Mine. The scene I just played, you wrote that. And yet you didn't get writing credit, but I heard you wrote that scene.
Yeah, Harold Ramis knew that he wanted a conclusion to the Ned character. Danny, the screenwriter, Danny Rubin, and they were busy shooting and they didn't write anything. They brought me out there back to Woodstock, Illinois, where we were shooting, and they said, well, we'll have something written by the time we're ready to shoot it. Well, they were about to lose the space. I just wrote a scene and I said, this way, Bill gets a joke and Andy has something and I have a lot of BS to say. Harold Ramis said, well, what are we shooting? And I said, well, I wrote this. So what do you think of this? He read it and he says, well, let's shoot this. And he says, Bill, look at it. What do you think? Yeah. And Bill looked at it and says, okay, yeah, we could do this. So, and I always kid Danny, the real screenwriter of Groundhog Day, I did not get credit for that scene.
I know.
We're fighting for the red, white, and blue, and we won't be coming home. We get through. Hit it.
Well, I interview a lot of musicians, and I obviously have actors on as well. But Steven, you have your foot in both camps. Formed your first band in high school called Cast of Thousands. You had a young 14-year-old Stevie Ray Vaughan on guitar.
We recorded these are 2 songs on this album, and here's the album, by the way.
I've seen it, but I have not seen it in person. That's awesome. A new
Here
high,
it is, a new high. We recorded like the Beatles did at the beginning. We all stood around 2 microphones and all sang the song all at once in harmony, did all of the stuff. And then at the end, Stevie came up and started playing his leads and just to see which one they wanted.
Yeah.
And when he started playing, we went like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Because we were not any good. And no, we weren't. And he was not only good, but it was the first time any of us were in the room with genius.
Are you, sir, a spokesman for the White Knights of the Ku Klux Klan?
I told you, I'm a businessman. I'm also...
You know, you've been in, 300 plus roles, TV, movies. Do you have a favorite?
Well, a lot of favorites for a lot of reasons. One of my favorites was one of the first, Mississippi Burning, because it connected me with Alan Parker, who turned out to be one of the most important people in my life. And the casting director on Mississippi Burning ended up being the same casting director as Groundhog Day.
Oh.
And that does not happen. You don't have an actor playing a horrible white racist like me and then going to do Ned Ryerson.
Right.
That doesn't happen in show business. If you play horrible white racist, they do it until, you're just too old to play the next door neighbor.
You've been in an industry that's not so easy for a very long time, and you've persevered and you've excelled. And thank you for all the gifts you've given to us.
My pleasure, Doreen.
If you want to hear more of our wonderful chat, you can visit right here. And for now, I'm Doreen Taylor with The Scene with Doreen here at the Daily Flash each and every week. See you next time.
Hello, one and all, to this edition of Is It True? So let's debunk the age-old discussion of, is it true that it's okay or not okay to eat raw cookie dough?
No.
So is it true? I know I always had a spoonful as a lad when my mom was making cookies, and it seemed perfectly acceptable. But then again, this was the early 90s, and a lot of stuff got away with it. So is it true or false that it's okay to eat cookie dough?
It's not okay at all. I know because of eggs. That's what they always told me. It's not eggs. And then, like, if you order it like at ice cream shops, they'll make it without eggs because it doesn't have to like hold together. So yes, it will make you sick. That's what I say. I say it's true.
So it is indeed actually false that it's okay to eat cookie dough. So it's false that you can eat it. You should not eat it. Though they do make a substitute that you can eat raw. So they've made it without the raw eggs. So the USDA says it's because of the raw cookie dough. And they say it's because, like you were saying, the raw eggs that can have salmonella bacteria. So it's not safe. We never get to have any of the fun things we like from the 90s, like riding around in the back of a car without seat belts. Just live, people. But really, don't eat it. It's going to make you super sick. Now, Mitch, did you have any of those other foods as a kid that you were like, they said it was fine, and I'm good with it?
It's the Pop Rocks and Pepsi. Remember when I was growing up, if you ate those two, you would die immediately. And then there was bubble gum that had spider eggs in it. Remember that? They said they had, and I stayed away. And that's probably why I hate chewing gum so much. All right, thanks, Matt. Isn't true? Good stuff there. More Flash coming up.
This is Daily Flash with your hosts, Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. Trending news and entertainment. This is Daily Flash.
Hi, everyone. I'm Andrea Jackson.
I am Mitch English, welcoming you to Daily Flash. Yay. So glad to have you here. Matt, I'm going to have you do an impersonation here. It's one of my favorite Matt does for me, and you'll know what it is. Okay, so out in California, in San Dimas, California, a 70-year-old man went out hiking, and he went missing, right? And he didn't come back when he was supposed to. So the San Dimas Mountain Rescue Team was called in after 12 hours. They couldn't find him. Well, they all came out, and like they normally do, they have like a meeting point. They sorry, this is what we're going to do, yada, 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 yada. Well, as they met there was also a bunch of guys with some classic cars there.
Okay.
Including a celebrity that was there, right? Oh. So they go, well, hey, before we go, let's go talk to this guy. It was Jay Leno.
No way.
How you doing? Take you a car?
He didn't know I'm going to do it. So they go. So the search and rescue team's like, "Hey, Jay Leno's, let's go over there." And we get our pictures, and Jay Leno's being very cordial to them all, very nice, and he sounded like this. So they took pictures. All went away. No story there. The story is, after 30 hours, they found the guy, and the guy got home safe, which is fine. But my thing is, in 29 hours, they could have found the guy had they not stopped. If Jay Leno, didn't have to go take pictures. Jay Leno was just like, I just want to show off my car. He was showing off my car. Was he a Studebaker? So they all got pictures.
The whole thing in Los Angeles, in Southern California, the whole dynamic changes when a celebrity's involved.
Isn't that wild?
Everything gets put on pause. Search and rescue, you name it. Pause.
So it happens
we need a
lot.
Picture. All the time.
We used to go out there for vacation just about every summer, and almost every year we would see Jay Leno in some car coming down Coldwater Canyon. Hey, it's like infamous to see Jay Leno.
I can't tell you about this. And I'm a Letterman guy. And for a while I didn't like Jay Leno. I'm on, he's cool now.
Yeah.
A kid said he told everybody at his school, he was like a middle school, like a junior high. He said, yeah, my uncle's Jay Leno. And he started this thing. And he wrote to Jay Leno and said, hey, can you send me something? Jay Leno picked him up in his car and took him to school that day.
No way.
And see you later, buddy. Bye, guys. So he got on my good side tonight. Hey, how'd they say it? I'll be the funny bone tonight. I'll be the funny bone. Every T-shirts nightly.
Now, was he really that kid's uncle?
No, not at all. No, that was what's cool about it, because he doesn't have any kids, and I guess the kid was like, he told everybody who was, and I thought that was a neat story.
Very sweet. Well, police in New Jersey have taken a bite out of crime. They have found the woman who climbed over a fence and into the tiger enclosure at a local zoo. Police shared video footage of 24-year-old Zaire Dennis breaking into a fenced-off area of the zoo's tiger enclosure. You can see her put her hand through a small gap to get within reaching distance of the Bengal tiger. The giant cat appears to be startled by the intruder, lunges at the fence. She quickly removes her hand and then jumps back. However, before she slowly leaves, she takes a moment to pose in front of the tiger for a selfie. Police say they have video of her doing the same thing at the bear enclosure on the same exact day. She is facing several charges, 30 days in jail and a $500 fine.
Well, it does look like you liked the little scratchy at the beginning.
Who doesn't, right? Cats like that, right? She could have got mauled by this. You don't know. I know it's like, oh, how cool is this? And just for a picture, obviously, is where it's at. So it's unfortunate there are people out there that care more about themselves.
Here you've got a zoo, though, that has two distinct barriers to keep people away from the tiger. And yet she ignores the rules. She's entitled to that space, and she just goes in there.
Rules are for other people.
Yes,
apparently.
Of course.
All right, I think we all can agree on this one. Absolutely no one likes a crying baby on an airplane, right?
Right.
So in an effort to soothe her 9-month-old during a 4,000-mile flight, a beauty influencer came up with an idea. Look at this. She built a hammock by tying a blanket between a few empty seats, something I completely would have done. Well, an anxious onlooker noticed that, if that plane hits turbulence, this baby will be flying.
Oh, jeez.
Cue the firestorm of criticism regarding the safety hazards and her impromptu DIY hack. The mom released a statement claiming the infant was only in there for about 30 seconds of the 7-hour flight. I bet you it was longer than that.
I bet you're right.
She also said that she would have never done it if she thought that her child would have been in danger. I say, look, you're being anything to stop the kid from crying.
Yeah.
I think it was cute. What's wrong? I've seen people, like, when there's no other seats, they have the whole row to themselves laying down like that. I guess you could put on the seatbelt, but in this case you wouldn't have
But I've also seen kids like kind of playing in that area below their parents' feet. So what's the difference between that?
I can't see any of them. We could see you on the other side of this commercial.
Today on The Scene with Doreen, I'm going to make you an offer that you can't refuse because I have Mob Wives Queen Renee Graziano on the show. She's got a new podcast coming out, and I'm excited to talk about it. Check it out.
No screaming, no fist fights. We're like normal women. Out of here. No, we're not. They say keep your friends close, your enemy closer. So that's the only reason why I'm sitting at this table with Natalie right now.
What is this fascination about the mob and the whole mob culture? What is so intriguing for people about that world?
You know, when someone says, I got a secret, how everybody wants to know what the secret is because it's juicy. Well, the mob was a secret. I mean, I'm fascinated with it. When I watch a movie, I'm still fascinated with the history of it, with the strength, with the power, with the intelligence.
Your sister Jennifer was the creator and producer of Mob Wives, but you were actually the last one cast. What took so long?
Yes, I was last to be cast because I'm a pain in the ass. That's the God's honest truth. And I drove her crazy. I would be like, can I be the wardrobe stylist? Can I do this? Can I do that? And it was always like, I'll let you know. I'll let you know. And at one point, I really didn't think she was going to cast me. I got a little worried. But then lo and behold, how are you going to do a Mob Wife show without the girl that has the most drama surrounding, with the exception of Karen, that world in general? Hats off to all the ladies. Everybody brought something to the table. I just brought the biggest dish.
VH1 rejected the show at first, correct?
I think we were a little too much and they didn't know exactly how to handle us. However, after a meeting that we had with David Glasser, who had made a phone call to Harvey as we sat at the table, he was like, these ladies. And then the next day, I think within 24 to 48 hours, we were signed and we were I would say we were a mob hit. It is your favorite mob wife, Renee Graziano. Here at the Crisis Queen podcast, we are talking about your trauma and we're getting you through it.
You had to endure inconceivable betrayal from your husband. You've had to suffer the loss of a father. You survived a fentanyl overdose. How do you cope with monumental things like that and you have no privacy to heal?
Dealing with it publicly was my decision. I made that public on Mob Wives. And the reason being, we could have hit it a little bit better, but I didn't want to because I know there is another Renee in this world struggling.
Now you're bravely sharing your pain with others to help others in your new podcast, Crisis Queen.
I just want women to know
they're not alone.
You're not alone. It doesn't matter who you are, what size you are, what you look like.
Amen.
We all suffer this, and that's where the Crisis Queen really comes in. Yeah. It's because I've dealt with it's so horrible, but I've dealt with so many personal crises that I gotta be able to help somebody.
What can people expect to see when they tune in?
It's a place to come and feel safe. It's a place where I am there not to make light of your trauma, but to make your trauma feel lighter.
Renee Graziano, the new Crisis Queen podcast, available wherever you can stream podcasts.
Thank you so much. This was actually a very delightful interview, and it was very informative. So thank you so very much.
What a great look into the world of mob culture with Renee. Check out our new podcast, Crisis Queen. And if you want to hear more of our wonderful conversation, you can visit right here. I'm Doreen Taylor with The Scene with Doreen here at the Daily Flash each and every week. See you next time.
Well, pandemonium is sweeping the nation. Two new giant pandas, Yunchang and Yingbao, are making their early awaited public debut at San Diego Zoo. Joining us to discuss is Wildlife Ambassador with the San Diego Zoo Wildlife Alliance, Marco Wendt.
Buenos dias, world. I'm here at Panda Ridge at the San Diego Zoo. It's a super exciting time. We're welcoming all the people of the world to come visit us here at San Diego Zoo and experience giant pandas, an iconic species of the region of China. You get to experience two giant pandas. We have our 5-year-old male, Yun Xuan. Yun means cloud, and Xuan means river. So he's a big river of clouds. Lots of personality, super laid-back panda. And we have our female as well. Now, her name is Xing Bao, means precious treasure of prosperity and abundance. And it's really an appropriate name, I think, because overall pandas represent wildlife conservation, they represent friendship, and they represent love. And this is going to be an iconic species. Now, for viewers and listeners to know, when you come visit us at the San Diego Zoo, we're a nonprofit organization, and we're doing conservation work all over the world. I highly recommend all of your viewers to check out our website. It's sandiegozoo.org, and then you can find all that panda information from the various ways you can have a wonderful, vibrant panda experience.
Well, September is World Alzheimer's Month, and researchers say there's actually hope for patients in the early stages of the disease. Here's Jonelle Dersham with her neurologist, Dr. David Weissman. Doctor, how is early Alzheimer's disease actually different from normal aging?
Normal aging is really just kind of tip of the tongue symptoms, hand me the thingamajig or whatchamacallit. But Alzheimer's disease, on the other hand, is a slow brain disease that starts affecting memory primarily and usually, where people just start forgetting conversations, appointments, things like having trouble with handling finances. And that really distinguishes this brain disease, which is caused by the slow buildup of these abnormal proteins in the brain, from normal aging. Now we have a treatment that slows down the course of the disease. And we're here partnering with Eisai and Biogen to raise awareness about exactly that fact. We now have this treatment, Leqembi, that slows down the disease if it's caught early.
I was struggling to gather my thoughts at times, and I was having problems with dexterity in my job as an OBGYN doctor. And I was kind of losing my confidence in my surgical skills. And I knew I had a grandfather that had Alzheimer's disease. So I was concerned that I had a neurologic condition. So I told my family that I wanted to see a neurologist. And we made an appointment. And when I saw Dr. Weissman, I was confirmed to have the diagnosis of Alzheimer's. But he also talked about Leqembi, and he said I was a good candidate for it. And I've been on it since June of last year.
Leqembi lowers the protein that causes Alzheimer's disease. And by doing so, it prevents it from sticking on the nerve cells and making them dysfunctional. So the more the nerve cells stay healthy, the better people do over a long period of time. And this is a very slow disease, so we're talking about folks who are able to maintain independence for longer, do their hobbies and whatever they want to do, pick up the grandkids, pick up the kids for longer. No drug is without side effects, and the drug can cause brain swelling. And we typically want to monitor that with MRIs to make certain that that stays asymptomatic. And it can cause symptoms, but those can be managed during the treatment with either dosing interruptions or other treatments. It can cause allergic reactions, infusion-related reactions as well. And that's not a complete list, but that covers most of it.
Thank you both. And if you want more information, you can check out leqembi.com.
Hey, are you looking for ways to maximize technology to make your life better? Well, AARP, the magazine, is out with its latest Tech Made Easy feature sharing some great tips. Here's what you should know.
AARP research reveals that older Americans are just as likely as younger adults to own high-tech devices like smartphones and tablets. Technology editor for AARP, the magazine, Jim Lenahan, shares more.
At AARP, our mission is to improve the lives of older Americans. We know how quickly new technologies emerge and feel it's important to show their benefits. This year's Tech Made Easy feature highlights ways older adults can maximize technology to make their lives better.
The feature explores using smartwatches to track heart rate and sleep, as well as apps for free shipping, cash back, and safe money transfers.
Many retailers offer apps that provide free shipping and deals, making online shopping more affordable. For safely paying and transferring money to friends and family, there are several reliable apps. We also highlight how new car models with adaptive cruise control can help older drivers stay safe on the road.
For more technology tips, visit aarp.org/tech.
Hey, would you like to help break a Guinness World Record? Now's your chance. Capital One is attempting to break the record for the most users to take an online financial literacy course within 24 hours. Here to tell you how you can be a part of it is the President of Financial Services at Capital One, Sanjeev Yajnik.
At Capital One, we are very focused on this particular topic, and we have worked with Khan Academy to create modules that people can go through. And now we want to make it fun. So we want to create a world record, a Guinness World Record. And what people need to do is, if they go to financialliteracyrecord.com, starting Monday, September 23rd, 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern, and take a 30-minute course on 3 important topics. They learn a lot, we have a lot of fun, and they can create history. This is completely free to the public, and it is just broken up beautifully. People who've used Khan Academy previously will understand that it is just put together in a really, really good way. This particular one that we've put together has got 3 modules. They are really important modules. One is budgeting and saving. Now, budgeting and saving is important at any age, but we encourage people to start as young as possible. The second topic is car buying. Now, buying a car is probably the second largest asset purchase that a person is going to do in their lives. The third one is about paying for college, which I don't really need to explain. That is so important. But the fun part is, go to financialliteracyrecord.com from September 23rd, 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern for a 24-hour period. This takes only 30 minutes to complete, and let's create a world record. Going forward, you can always go to capitalone.com and go from there. Let's make history happen. Let's do it with a lot of fun. And these are 3 important courses that can be taken free and can be taken pretty immediately, right? Starting next Monday.
Thanks for all that great info, and we'll have it on our website at dailyflashshow.com.
Need to unwind after a busy day? We've got the perfect solution to your sleepless nights, thanks to Disney. Disney Sleep offers peaceful renditions of your favorite classic Disney songs to fall asleep to, and is available wherever you stream music. Just say, "Alexa, play Disney Sleep" to your Amazon-connected device. For the perfect deep sleep, visit DisneySleepSweepstakes.com and enter to win the grand prize, an award-winning NOLA Evolution Luxury Hybrid Mattress. This mattress offers 3 firmness level options, cooling comfort, and pressure relief for sensitive joints. Learn more at NOLAmattress.com. The prizes don't stop there. The grand prize winner also gets a Whim Beside companion lighted speaker with Alexa to stream the Disney Sleep playlist. If you fall short of the grand prize, don't fret. You can still win one of 5 $25 Amazon gift cards. Head over to dailyflashshow.com and click on the sweepstakes button for your chance to win.
Welcome back to Daily Flash. Man, we love having y'all along with us.
I saw a headline on the New York Post recently. Some woman pulled another lady aside and said, I know what's wrong with your son. And, basically pointing out she thought that he was sick and had some sort of ailment. And she's like, don't tell me how to parent my own child. Which reminded me, I was out walking the dogs the other day, and some lady had the nerve to come up to me and tell me that I was walking my dogs wrong.
What? Who does that? How do you walk your dog? How do you walk a dog wrong?
I'm like, I don't even know you. Like, who are these people? Who are these people that think they can just come up to you and tell you you're doing this wrong?
I need to know the reference. Like, what were we like?
Here's me
wrapped around your neck or something.
Out walking the dogs. I see who I think is a neighbor. I don't know them personally.
Sure.
I just say, hey, how's it going? I'm just trying to be a nice, friendly neighbor. And she's like, yeah, hi. Excuse me. Can I tell you something? And I was like, oh no, here we go. And she's like, you're not walking your dogs the right way. But I had my dogs out in front of me. They're 2 very large dogs, and they've got a lot of energy. And she goes, you're supposed to be walking them right next to your side on a tight leash. And I was like, do I know you?
I had somebody tell me I was playing with my cat too rough on one of the videos, and I was like, I'll play with my cat how I want to play with my cat, okay?
Yeah.
If it's any solace, I guarantee you that woman's husband, she keeps him right by his dick. If you can go up to a complete stranger and tell them they're, and it's the way you do it too. Say, hey, can I suggest something? That's another thing instead of you're doing it wrong.
And I'm like, who are you?
Who does it?
Ultimate Karen.
I just know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who's a trainer. Really?
That's what it was. Y'all take care. We love having you along. We'll see you when we look at you.